Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the heart of Woodside, Queens, in the bowels of the Bisco Bunker, the head of the sanitation department of the Block Island Seafood Company, and vice president of HR, ladies and gentlemen, Craig Garrity. That's so nice! Oh, that's so nice, folks. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Wow, it's, oh, that's too kind. Thank you very much. Oh, that's real. You know, since we've been relaxing some of the social distancing here, we're allowed to have a larger studio audience here in the apartment. So tonight we have myself, we have Maureen, we have thousands of people in the living room tonight. So I want to thank you all for being here. Just sit back. We're going to have enough pasta for everybody, I promise you. I don't have that much pasta, to be honest, folks. But we'll stretch it out. One noodle each. Ah, Hot Pod Library, how are you? I hope you're all doing well. I hope you can hear me tonight. I have my earbuds in because I know that my friend Danielle, she's going to be checking in saying, Greg, we can't hear you. Well, you can hear me, Danielle, tonight. I hope. I've got these really expensive earbuds in. They're so pricey. No, they're not. They're just half a Q-tips. I just cut them in half. But I figured I could fool you. We have some big guests out there tonight. Happy birthday to Debbie Darcy. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to my sister-in-law, Mary Beth, as well. Lots of birthdays today. We're nearing the end of summer, too. Maureen has just arrived in the background. So... Before we got started tonight, Maureen said, I'm not going to be a part of the show tonight, all right? All right? I said, fine. It's not all about you anyway. But she heard the roar of the crowd, and she came in from the living room like, all right, I'm here. So we have a great menu tonight, a couple of different items, and you don't have to do them the way that I'm doing them. You can do them any way you like. Because we're going to do a Cacio Pepe. 2 years ago, this time 2 years ago, my honey baby, Maureen, and I were in Italy on our honeymoon, and we were eating Cacio Pepe all around the great country of Italy. And spaghetti vongole, linguine with clams, or spaghetti with clams, and a lot of spaghetti carbonara. Mm-hmm. That was, it was a lot of weight put on Italy. So before you folks got here...
And swelling.
And swelling. We were swollen. We were fully swollen. Write in your questions tonight. The menu looks great. Thank you, Marianne. I appreciate that. So while you folks were just at home doing nothing, just hanging out, and I was here working, I started to boil some water, and I put some bucatini in there. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take some of that liquid out. Very important there. I probably have close to 2 cups there. And that should be enough, but just in case it's not, I'll take a little extra. See that move?
It's good. It's a good one.
And that's holding hot liquid. So we need that starchy pasta water, folks. It's going to be vital to our cacio pepe, which means cheese e pepper. Cheese e pepper. Cacio pepe. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to drain this, because I've got the water that I needed.
Get a facial.
Yeah, little witch's brew. And that's really all I need right now. This is really hot, so I would just normally hand it to Maureen, because Maureen can handle it. For anybody who's never met Maureen, she's got really amazingly powerful hands. They're kind of small, but almost like a hobbit's hand. Maureen's hands have these pads on them, where she can handle really hot dishes. It's amazing. One day we were making soup, and I ran out of bowls, and she said, okay, that's okay, just pour mine right in here. And she, like that, hot shower. I married a really strong woman. So, bucatini, and we're going to catch up on this in a little bit later. It looks like spaghetti, except it's just a little thicker, a little heavier. So this box, for example, where you would normally have a 16-ounce, a pound of pasta, this box is 12 ounces. because the bucatini is just larger. You okay there? Am I getting too close to camera?
Yeah. Your head was a little cut off.
All right. Well, thank you, Maureen. So, a couple of items tonight. We're going to do this Cacio Pepe. We're also going to make a vegetarian, or it doesn't have to be a vegetarian, but we're going to make a veggie bean soup, which I think you're going to like. You know, the fall rather, is slowly approaching. I like the fall. My birthday is in the fall. The cooler weather is good for me. It's good for Maureen too. She sweats a lot. It's crazy. It's crazy. Sometimes it's you'll see all these puddles, and she's just sitting there. No, kidding. But we do have a hot apartment, so the cooler months are welcome. Very welcome. Also, you know, we start to cook a little bit differently when the weather starts to cool down. So tonight, sort of our transition from summer to fall. So we're going to do a stick to your ribs type of pasta dish and a hearty bean soup, which you can make with vegetarian broth, or vegetable broth, or with a chicken stock, whichever you prefer. First things first, you have to get married, okay? Because when you get married, that's when people give you a la crusade. Single people don't have these. I was single for a long time. I didn't have one of these. So that's the first thing you have to do. I'm kidding. You don't have to. I wouldn't recommend it.
The marriage part?
The marriage, yeah.
You're cruel.
These have been 2 long years, folks. Oh, yeah. Let's start out with a little bit of olive oil. Get that going. I have sort of the usual suspects tonight. We have celery, we have carrot, we have onion. I'll show you how I cut some of this stuff up as well, so that you don't think I was, messing with you, and that I bought all this stuff pre-cut. I wouldn't buy it pre-cut, okay? I'm not like that. Okay? May I have a can of seltzer out of the fridge? Honey?
Mm-hmm.
Cacio Pepe is my favorite, with mussels. Thank you, Marie Jo. Oh, Marie Jo, you're a hello, Joanna. Marie Jo, we've seen you before plenty of times. Hello, Pauline. Welcome to. Good to see you back. So I have in the La Crusade, I've got a couple of turns of olive oil started to warm up there. And I'm going to add some celery, some carrots, some onion, a little bit of chopped garlic. Turns out I had a half a red pepper in the refrigerator. I threw that in there. And I had a half a red onion as well. So right now you have a lot of neighbors bringing you vegetables that you're like, all right, I know that you grow zucchini. We all get it, Johnny. But, maybe not plant as much next year. And people keep dropping stuff off to you now. Here's a good way to use some of it. But we'll always start off with celery, carrot, and onion. And I've got some chopped up garlic in here. Maybe Maureen will just give us a look inside this La Crusade. Very nice. You can keep it right there. We're going to drop in let's drop in a bay leaf and a little bit of dried thyme as well. This will give us a real nice earthy flavor. If you want to use fresh thyme, just throw the branches right in there and pull them out when they're done. I'm going to give this a spin and let that cook for a minute or two. Show you how I cut some stuff up. And you folks can hear me okay tonight. Is the headset working out nicely?
Lynn Pastine wants to know, do you ever cook gagoots? Did I say that right? Gagoots?
Do I ever cook gagoots? Lynn, I've never cooked a gagoot as far as I know. I've never cooked a gagoot.
Did you know what that is?
And I don't know what a gagoot is, but my brother Matt, if he's still watching, Matt, will you write in and tell us what a gagoot is? Yeah, that sounds very Italian.
Squash?
Squash. Well, you can just say squash. Is there a
I don't
difference
know.
between a squash and a gagoot?
Oh, now, Siri's
Who?
Siri's asking the question.
How did Siri get into it?
I don't know, but how do I get her?
Am I still on camera? Ay, ay, ay. Siri, stop.
Okay. We're back.
I don't know how Siri got involved there, folks.
Lynn says, I saw them at the farmer's market and I wouldn't know what to do with it, but my dad, very Italian, used to rave about them. It's zucchini. Is it squash or is it zucchini?
Well, squash and a zucchini are in the same family.
Alright.
Whoa! A gagoot, though. That sounds really... That sounds really Italian. You know, like something down at the San Gennaro feast or something like that. Little like, yo, come over here. We got fried gagoots tonight. little powdered sugar on that. Fried gagoots. You know, I'll put a little bit of chocolate in there. What are you doing? Buy a T-shirt. So we're gonna give this a nice bit of heat. We've got the thyme, celery, carrot, onion. We've got garlic working in there. And real quick, it's very important, just so you know. These parts of the celery, we've kept those. I always tell you to keep those. And, you know, people say, what? So there we go. Make sure we keep them and we use them. That's in. My board's getting messy already. I know my brother Matt is at home and he watches sometimes and he cringes when my board isn't clean or clear. And I don't blame him. But, you know, this is the high-paced, fast-paced world of library chef cooking at your home. Things get out of hand really fast. So, same with the celery. Remember, this is a soup. So you don't want to put something like this in there. You'd have to have a very large spoon in order to get this piece of celery.
That could be your spoon.
Could be my spoon. Because I have a large spoon?
No.
Oh, that could be my spoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Maureen just sent off a paper today. Maureen's been in summer school. Oh, summer class. She was taking a summer class. I'm sorry. I thought it was summer school.
No.
So I just cut these into some smaller pieces right there. Maureen, maybe we'll just give a quick look here. Little chop cam. Tonight's chop cam, folks, is brought to you by our good friends at Wusthof. When you got to get a great knife, get a Wusthof. Wusthof. So you want to get just sort of a smaller dice. Remember, it should fit on the soup. It should fit on a spoon, and not just that. You know, you don't want it the sizes to change too much. So if you can, try to keep things in roughly the same size. They'll cook at the same pace, and then we'll know that they're all done. Whoops.
Ooh.
That was a close one. Always watch what you're doing there. Maureen gets really nervous when I'm working with the knives. But, you know, I told her I've had a switchblade for a long time. My mom gave me that for my first communion. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. So these guys, as I said, they're all about the same size. Keep your fingers out of the way. See, my fingers are back here. Not like this. You don't cut like this. That's how you cut the tips of your finger. You turn your fingers in, and the knife can't get to the tips of your finger. Make sure your knife is sharp, but keep the tip, this knuckle right here. That's what's going to keep your fingertips safe. And that's your guide. Let your carrots be your guide. I thought I was going to say conscience, didn't you?
I didn't know what you were going to say.
You didn't? Okay, well. I thought you would know better. Okay. So we got our celery and our carrots. Those are all working very nicely. Now, the soup is kind of easy, but at the same point in time, packs a lot of flavor and a very healthy soup. It's a very healthy soup. So now what we're going to do, I don't have the recipe in front of me, but we're going to start to add some items. Let's see. I've got that done. Of course, there's two things there. Now we start to add our beans. These are our cannellini beans. It's a kidney bean, but it's a white one. You've seen the red ones. Now I've already drained these and washed these. Those are in. use all of these tomatoes. I want to save just a little bit. And I've got some broth here. Maybe Maureen will come over with the soup can. Tonight's soup can is sponsored by Campbell's. We're not using Campbell's, but they're the only soup I can think of right now. I'm going to save some of these diced tomatoes. But here you start to see how things are looking. Pretty nice. In go the tomatoes.
Smells good.
Smells good. You heard that, folks? Maureen said it smells good, and she's usually not one to hand out compliments. All right, these are our tomatoes. Here's our stock going in. Now I'm going to start to let this come up to a boil. And these beans here, the beans are going to start to break down, and they'll add almost a bit of a creaminess to this soup. We're going to finish it off with some more salt, pepper, maybe even a little bit of cayenne. I haven't decided yet, but maybe. I don't know. We're up to a lot of craziness here tonight.
Margaret Gardenier wants to know what kind of soup, honey.
Oh, we're going to be doing... Did she call me honey, or are you calling me honey?
No, she called you honey.
No, Max could call me honey. That would be fine. So, Max, it's not a minestrone. It's a bean soup. The minestrone would have some pasta in it. This is not going to have pasta in it, but we are going to do a pasta dish. Let's see. Laura says... What did Laura say there? Oh, gaboots. Matt says it's a caciuti. Definitely not a regular zucchini. Let's see what Laura has to say. Now, Laura is a person of... She's a science person. She knows this stuff. But if you're in, say, a mature Italian-American gentleman's garden, that gaboots refers to a long hanging... Should I keep reading this?
Is this cheaper?
Refers to a long hanging squash, typically harvested in August. Actually, that's really a kakuza. That's interesting, because I have a friend named Kelly Kakuza.
Oh.
How about that?
Learn something new every day.
You're welcome, sweetie. Now, how about some mussels? We're not going to use all of the mussels for the soup tonight, but the soup, rather, is just sort of going to live on its own right now.
For the pasta.
Yeah, the mussels are going to be for the pasta. And I'm going to get those started right now. I've got a dish here that's got some good heat on it, and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to add some butter as well. See, I was pretending that it was me, that was the camera that was freezing. It wasn't.
Oh.
Maureen's, she's shot. See, I come alive at this hour. She's ready for bed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start off with a little bit of butter here. Don't worry. The butter's going in. And why don't you come on over here, honey, for a moment. We're going to show these folks some beautiful mussels. Now I'm going to show you how to clean the mussels, what to do with them, all sorts of things when it comes to the mussels. So when we started out, we got some butter and olive oil working right here. Now I'm going to add some garlic. I had these tomatoes. Now a lot of you folks are going to have tomatoes from your garden, things like that. Let's use them. Here's a good chance to use them. This is Mussel Cam, brought to you by Maureen, the lady with the muscular hands. She's got the hands of a man. Sorry, honey. I didn't know. It rhymed. It rhymed. I'm sorry. Okay, in go a little bit of these red pepper, red tomatoes. I think I have some red pepper flakes here as well. Let's take a few of these guys. How's it smelling, Maureen?
Good.
Okay, good. It's a lot of garlic. That's okay. Now, here's our mussels. Probably too many mussels for the pan, but that's okay because it's too late. We're going with it. What's that?
I didn't think you were going to cook them all.
I got a little bit of white wine here. And this white wine and the mussel liqueur is going to make a beautiful, beautiful thing.
You want the lid?
Yeah, let me get that lid right here. And now just wait about 3 minutes and we're going to be good to go. That's all it takes. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes. Thank you. Okay, folks, let's talk mussels. I've got 3.
Hope you've had a good Monday.
That was nice of her.
I have had a good Monday. Thank you very much, Alexa. That was nice of her. And we fought all summer.
Yeah.
Quarantine was not good for the 3 of us. It was not. So, the mussels. Now, you saw what I did there. If you want to get a separate mussels recipe, email me, Craig@blockislandseafood.com. That's Craig at blockislandseafood.com. Don't forget our website, www.blockislandseafood.com. www.blockislandseafood.com. So, you'll see here on these mussels what's called a beard. See this? I'm going to tug on that beard. And here, this mussel, you can see he's got the beard. That's how you know it's a male. I'm kidding. All mussels will have that little beard. And sometimes the mussels will be open, so you tap them. If the mussel closes slowly, that means it's alive. That's the main thing. So you pull the beard off, the mussel will contract like that. And if you tap on it and the mussel closes, then you know the mussel is live. You want to cook a live product. How do you know if the mussels are good? Well, if they move when you touch them, that's one. If they smell like the sea, if they smell really good, that means they're fresh. Lastly, take a look at the date. You see, these were harvested on the 13th. So they're only harvested yesterday. I know they're in good shape. These were in the water yesterday. And that little beard is a combination of, and don't forget, when you go to your fishmonger, everybody should have one of these tags. A lot of times the mussels will be sold in 2-pound bags. In this case, these were from Mars Seafood Company. This is up out of Canada. Most of the mussels you get will be from Canada, Prince Edward Island normally. On menus they'll be called PEI mussels. It stands for Prince Edward Island. And throughout the cool, clean waters of Prince Edward Island, aquaculturalists, because mussels are mostly grown at this point, in that somebody is putting mussel spat, baby mussel, on long ropes, and those ropes are then sent out into the water on one long rope. So one long rope sits on top of the water, and a bunch of ropes are dangling off of that rope. And then they just drift in the water. And the mussels are attached to that rope down here. And that's what you're tugging off. When you tug this beard off, it's a little bit of rope, and it's also a little bit of a membrane that the mussel shoots out to help it connect. So imagine a world without PEI mussels that aren't wild. In the wild, a mussel will attach itself to a rock. You know, when the waves come in and then the waves go out, you look down. Alexa, stop it. Thank you, though. So as I was saying, when you look at the beach and there's a bunch of mussels attached to a rock at the jetty, that's this little bit here that the mussel sticks. So the mussel can sit there and just open and close its mouth all day. And the mussel flushes cold, beautiful, clean water, and it filters all day. It's a bivalve, like a clam or a oyster. And the mussels can be a little sandy on the outside and on the inside because there's sand. These are the ones by the beach. Wild mussels on Long Island, for example, you'll notice sometimes they have little crabs in them. Yeah, Long Island mussels can have a little crab in them because the crab has made its way into the mussel to eat the mussel. Then the mussel closed, the crab got caught in there, the crab's like, what am I doing in here?
Is it dead?
Yeah, the crabs will usually be dead, but I've seen them alive too. So be careful if you don't want to get crabs, all right? Be careful. I love the Prince Edward Island mussels. They're always very clean and very tasty. So, these mussels are cooked. Now what I'm going to do is, because I have a neighbor who is a great baker. And what I've been doing with him throughout quarantine is I've been sending over some food to him, and he's been sending back to us fresh baked bread, homemade ice cream, cinnamon rolls. Remember the cinnamon rolls?
Yeah, they were good.
So this I'm going to send over to my buddy Steve. let's come in here and see if we can get a quick take on this. So maybe I can just put these into a bit of a larger bowl.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But I only need a few of these. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take a few of them out. And I'll use these for our Cacio Pepe. There we go. Maureen's going to ring Steve's bell with a little surprise for him. Just tell him that I wanted him to have these hot, okay, honey?
Okay.
Use that though, because it's gonna be a little hot.
I got that in a second.
Yeah.
He knows they're coming over, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so our soup has been working away. I'm gonna check out for any questions. You know, sometimes Maureen doesn't read the questions to me because she thinks they're dirty or something like that. Let's see. Yes, I told you, long squash. Profan sautés it with garlic and oil. Put it over pasta. Great idea. That works. Sorry about that, Mary Jo. Hey, Maria. Hey, what's up, Terrence? There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Terrence Mulligan has checked in. Terrence, of course, of the Crack Festival, the Great Irish Film Festival and Music Festival. Also, the Long Island and the Brooklyn Oyster Festival. Despite all this, he had a sold-out affair for the Oyster Festival. Way to go, Terrence. So, Cacio Pepe. Really sort of a very easy version of macaroni and cheese. Alright? This was, it's a very Roman dish. You know, good Italian cooking is always very simple, a couple of ingredients, but fresh, or, because the pasta is actually dried. But simple, and that's not a knock. It doesn't mean that because it wasn't complicated, doesn't mean it wasn't great. So we're going to make a Cacio Pepe, and this is a dish that I swear is, it's heavenly. It sticks to your ribs. We start out with a little bit of olive oil again. And then what we do is we take a little bit of butter. I hear that butter working. Now the trick here for Cacio Pepe is to cook the pepper. Some Cacio Pepes you will see are a little lighter than others. Mine is a little darker because I make sure the pepper gets good and cooked.
Maria Canati, sorry if I said that last name.
Yep.
She's saying, did you do this before? Did what, Maria?
I have made this dish before.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if we've done it live like this. I can't remember. You know, quarantine has really taken its toll on me. I can't remember a lot of things. I'm losing it, honey.
No, you're not. You got it.
Yes, thank you. See how supportive my wife is?
Yeah.
I wish you all a supportive spouse like I have. I'm very lucky, honey. I love you.
I love you too.
Did I say that right? Is that how you wanted me to say it?
Yes.
So I'm just going to take these. I'm just pulling mussels from a shell right now.
Pulling mussels.
So you might find at home, folks, oh my God, I see mussels that are white and some that are sort of orangey looking. An orange mussel is a female mussel, and a white mussel is a male mussel. And if you were in our kitchen right now, you'd say, what smells nutty? There's a bit of a nutty smell. And right now, that's the combination of the butter and the pepper. You know, when you start to cook, as you cook butter, you make brown butter, it takes on a bit of a nutty smell. Right now, our kitchen smells so good. And I have here some darkened butter with pepper. Maybe Maureen could just tilt down. You don't even got to come in. Just tilt the whole thing. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's good and dark. Now, remember before I had some of that pasta water. And I had some pasta. So right now I'm going to take this pasta water. I'm going to put that in here.
Whoa, baby.
Hey-o! I'm going to keep it because I might not be done with it. So I start to boil up this pasta water. We're going to use 2 types of cheeses tonight. We have, in the back, I'm going to put the mussels on top separately because I'm going to share this with my baby, and she's not going to have any. She's not going to have any of the mussels tonight. But we've got the mussels cooked, and I'll show you exactly how that's going to look. So as I said, we have 2 types of pasta, 2 types of cheese. Here's our bucatini pasta. It's a little thicker than spaghetti, but not cooked all the way. I'm going to finish cooking it now right here. So that's got to go in there. Now, depending on how you're doing this, if you're cooking at home without a camera in your kitchen, you could simply have just 2 things on your stove. You could have had a pot of water with the spaghetti in it, and on the side, when the spaghetti or the bucatini was about 2 minutes away, you could have then taken water out and put it into a saute pan like I did here. But I needed the space, so that's okay. So what I have now is my pasta water and the bucatini. I'm going to bring that up to temperature. I'm going to add a little more of that pasta water. Macaroni and cheese, creamy, just like that. We're going to do 2 cheeses. No, you can't use that jarred powdered stuff here. If you have it in your refrigerator, I would go to the refrigerator and put it in the garbage right now. I'm nasty. He's nasty tonight. So here I have a Pecorino Romano, and this is a pretty solid cheese. Not a lot of granulation, not a lot of air in there, and this is a bit of a salty cheese. It's made from sheep's milk. Pecorino Romano comes traditionally from the Sardinia region in Italy, and as I said, it's a little saltier. It comes from sheep's milk. Great for grating, but it's not great for like chunking. You know, sometimes with a Parmigiano Reggiano, which I have as well, that can break off. You can break off little chunks. You really can't do this with the Pecorino Romano, but very tasty and high quality cheese. And like if you're at your cheese shop and you see that they've got blocks out, ask the cheesemonger, you know, when that cheese was cut, and ask him, you know, straight out, say who cut the cheese there. Don't be afraid. You can ask them that. Now here.
So simple. Get the cheese.
Here I have Pecorino. Here I have Parmigiano Reggiano. Now, Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, you know, is you can get Parmesan cheese, the stuff with the green lid in the supermarket in the jar, and that's a style of cheese that's going to be a hard cheese, but Parmigiano Reggiano is cheese that has to have been made in that area, that region of Italy. So think of like Champagne. Technically, the Champagne has to have come from the Champagne region in France, and Parmigiano Reggiano has to come from that area in Italy. So I've grated up a bunch.
Your mom just scolded you.
She just called me on the phone?
Said sicko.
Oh, sorry, Mom.
It was too good to pass up.
Yeah, it was too easy. All right, now.
What's a monger? Because you say fishmonger,
fishmonger.
and then you say cheesemonger.
I don't know if cheesemonger is actually a real term.
You made it up.
You know what I mean? Could I have studied cheesemongering in college? How would that have What are you studying? I'm going to study cheesemongering.
They just don't. Fish and monger seem to go together.
Yeah. Okay, folks, somebody's out there who's going to know the answer to this. A sommelier would be a wine expert. The fishmonger sells you fish at the fish store. Who sells you cheese?
It's a cheese expert.
Who cuts the cheese at your local fish store, cheese store? All right, so Maureen is here, and we're going to start out with our Parmigiano Reggiano. If you just want to use Parmigiano Reggiano, that's okay. No one's going to yell at you here. But I want you to come on in here. Now, you'll see that the pasta has soaked up quite a bit of the water. There's not a lot of water left. And the first thing we do is we start to add this in. Work that around. This is our first batch. I keep the heat on, and our pasta water is slowly but surely starting to get a little creamy. And when it gets creamy like that, we're making, as I said, this is sort of the original version of Italian macaroni and cheese. So we have our second type of cheese now going in.
A cheesemonger is someone who specializes in selling cheese, according to Google.
Oh, thank you very much, whoever Googled that.
Joanna Cowell.
Thank you, Joanna. Now, I've seen Cacio Pepe where people will have the liquid in a totally separate bowl, and they'll start to put the cheese into that bowl and make sort of a cheese sauce separately to put back into the pasta. I don't think we need to do that. This is the way that the Romans did it. And then they would eat oysters, and then they'd all make love to one another. It was quite a scene. So here I have my microplane, and I'm just going to finish this off with a good bit of cheese. If you said, oh my God, I put in too much cheese, Craig. It's dry. Craig, it's dry. To the pasta water, so here. So you're okay. Low heat. That's going to finish it. I'm not going to add too much salt. I haven't even really added any salt. I had a lot of salt in the water that I cooked the pasta in, and the cheese. Both cheeses add a good bit of saltiness, so just keep that in mind. But we do need a bit of brightness to this, so I'll put in some parsley. Maureen doesn't like it when I put parsley into things. She thinks it's a decoration. It's not a decoration. It's really there for a reason. To add some, as I say, some brightness. And to kind of cut through all that heavy creamy that we've just made with the cheese. Now, the American version of Cacio Pepe that you might get at a restaurant somewhere, they might add in a dash of heavy cream. There's no heavy cream in this dish traditionally. Same with spaghetti carbonara. If you get that at a restaurant, they shouldn't be adding heavy cream. My mother doesn't add heavy cream to hers. Would you hand me a fork so I can try this? I don't want to serve it to Maureen if it's not going to be good, you know? Also, I learned in Italy, whereas here we're twirlers. We twirl our spaghetti with a spoon and a fork. But in Italy, they just give you the fork, no spoon. I was really excited to show off my twirling, and
They weren't impressed.
they weren't impressed. It's hot.
Don't burn yourself.
Hmm?
Don't burn yourself.
No burning. A little bit of salt. Believe it or not, I'm going to put in a little bit more cheese, okay?
Do it.
You want to get a creaminess to it. So I did before the pecorino romano. Now I'm just going to add some more of the Parmigiano Reggiano. Adjust your flavors and adjust the texture and the consistency that you like. Now, if you are using one of those cheeses that you have, you know, that lasts forever in your refrigerator or your cabinet, just keep in mind that that cheese is going to really goop. It's going to get very goopy. We don't want that. We don't like goopy cheese like that. See, because there's a lot of additives and some preservative to some of those cheeses. Okay, I think we've got some of the hoped for creaminess. Too much?
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Perfect. Grazie mille.
Oh, grazie mille. Prego, prego. So, I'm going to put a little dish together for you here. Top it with some of the mussels. One other thing that I was not crazy about in Italy, well, I should say the portion size. I thought it could have been bigger. But that's me. Of course I would want it to be bigger.
That's Americans.
I know. Oh, I think it looks nice. There we go. Cacio, Pepe. And those are our sauteed mussels right on top. Nice and creamy. Now I'll try a bite of this one after I have added those mussels, and also that extra cheese to see if it saved it. I think it may have helped. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't know if it's my best one, but it's good. I like it. Looking good. Let's see. Let's see who's out there. My Alexa keeps going off. My mother says, I'm sorry, Mom. Oh, we love you being here, Maria. Comes from goat milk. Which one comes from goat milk? Well, what's the difference between a sheep and a goat? A cheesemonger is someone. Thank you, Joanna. A fromager is someone who makes cheese. That's who makes the cheese. Yes, you can add an egg to this dish. Well, actually, you can add an egg to this dish. You would not add an egg to. I'm sorry, that would not be cacio e pepe. You can add an egg to it, but it would not be cacio e pepe.
That's carbonara.
Well, carbonara. Some restaurants, what they would do is they would serve the spaghetti steaming hot, and they would nest out a little hole in the middle, and they'd put an egg yolk in it. So that when you got to the table, you would have that egg yolk in the middle of the nest of the carbonara, and then you'd work it in, and the heat from the pasta would cook off that egg yolk. That's I've seen Mario Batali do that, I think. My mom's spaghetti carbonara is top notch. I love it. This is just one of these dishes that if you don't have a lot in the refrigerator, you more than likely have some cheese, and you probably have some pepper. And we always keep a lot of pasta around the house. All right, let's take a look at our bean soup. Look at this.
I know. I noticed that earlier. What time is it?
We've been doing this now.
7:15.
We've been doing this now since late March, which was, and Hop Hog Library, thank you, Krista, was the first library who we did this with. And the world has changed so much since late March, in many ways, good and bad. But when we started doing this, it was right after daylight savings, so we had a lot of daylight, and it's funny to see now that it's getting dark and things like that.
I know.
But, as summer closes, and we've got another week or so of summer, I'm somebody who always tries to rush the end of summer. I was never a big big fan of summer, It was always the extra schooling and things like that. I loved being on vacation. I didn't really like going to the beach that much because I hated sand in my butt and all those kinds of things. But as I've gotten older, I appreciate it so much more. But I've always felt like that end of summer when the cool air just happens. You go through those days and you think like, is fall ever going to get here? And then you have that first cool night. And here we are again. And I felt today was already starting to cool off a little bit. Seeing the dark sky
At 7:15.
at 7:15, and then pretty soon we'll do daylight savings again. But we're going to have a great autumn, folks. We're going to have a great autumn. We're going to keep doing this to the end of the year, and hopefully when 2021 comes around, we'll be back in your library having samples with Larry.
Shayna Graffman, would dairy-free cheese work?
Shaney, I don't know if a dairy-free cheese would work here. Only because I don't know how, if it would coagulate differently. So the Pecorino Romano and the Parmesan, they interact with the hot water really nicely. So you might know some of those cheeses better. I would imagine that there's something that might work. The flavors, you'd probably have to play with the flavors because I don't know how some of those are flavored. But the main thing is, will it break down when it gets hit by the hot water and the hot pasta? Will it sort of become creamy, or will it? Sometimes it might not It might not mix so well creamy wise. So in that case, you might want to experiment a little bit. So
Maria wants to know: do all the Garrity's cook?
Do all the Garrity's cook? Yeah. Yeah, and my sister says that she's not a good cook. But she is a good cook. What my sister is very good at is, this is going to sound silly, but my sister is very disciplined when it comes to following recipes. So she was very diligent, for example, with cooking for her son, who had a very strict diet, and she was cooking things that I couldn't even imagine cooking, that I've never cooked, that I would probably pull my hair out cooking. So Maura's the only one who says that she can't cook. Believe me, all my brothers can cook and will gladly tell you how great they are at cooking. Mm-hmm. They are not shy about telling you how great they are at cooking. Now, how many of them are great at running after they've eaten all that food? You gotta run, folks. You've got to move the legs. You can't eat like this every night and not go out and run a little bit. So get moving. Now, this has really come together nice, very thick. The last thing I wanted to do was, I said I wanted to add a little bit of cayenne pepper here because this vegetable soup, I like something with a little kick. So I'm just going to add a dash of cayenne. Be careful with that cayenne. That stuff, you do too much and you'll be in trouble. You know what I mean? You got to put the toilet paper in the freezer.
Okay, that.
Sorry, folks. I couldn't resist that one. My brother Matt, that's his. So, I think what we want to do here is get some greenery in here. And as we said earlier, like when you get your veggies in here, if you happen to have any gagouts around, I think gagouts would make a real nice addition to this vegetable bean soup. And for anyone who doesn't know what a gagoots is, or a kakuza, as I like to call it, it's a long, dangling squash, usually harvested in August.
Come in.
Maureen's going to come in here for a look-see. And here's our bay leaf. We'll take that bay leaf out. And this, folks, is our hearty vegetable bean soup. I'm going to let it keep cooking even a little bit more, but if you'll notice some of these beans here, to the touch, they just smash so easy. Mm-hmm. And as this soup keeps cooking, they sort of break up, and then they almost make the soup thick and creamy. So I'm going to give this a little bit more time, see if you have any more questions out there before I sign off for the night, and really let Maureen get to doing the dishes. Just saying hi, Craig. Great to have you, Annie. We miss you, Annie B. Sunrise is also late too, my mom says. I don't know. I never see the sunrise. So let's see. I only thought Matt was the chef. Well, Matt is a chef. Yes, he is. But Matt does not cook in front of cameras in his kitchen. I keep wanting him to. I think we should have Matt up here. Although Matt says we can go down there and do a cooking demo.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be a great idea. Maybe we'll make some fresh pastas or something like that.
Might be.
With that nice pasta machine he's got. Can we do that, Matt? So, Profan uses a dairy-free cheese as well. Doesn't melt well. I don't know if you saw that, Cheney. So, goat cheese. But a goat cheese, if the problem is, being vegetarian or something like that, then the goat cheese would be out because, goat's an animal. Mm-hmm. All right. Guess I'm late for the show. Welcome, Tony Kerr. You are late for the show because we're getting ready to sign off. DJ Tony Kerr checking in. But you know what, Tony? All the cool guys show up late. You know what I mean? No cool people in the DJ business are right on time, You got to keep that crowd waiting, man. So, I want to say thank you to Hop Hog. Again, happy birthday, Debbie. Happy birthday, Mary Beth. Big shout out to our buddy Lawrence down south back in school. Way to go, Lawrence. Let's have a good year. Send us the report card, and maybe we'll send you a Block Island Seafood Company T-shirt if it's all A's. Well, maybe, okay. I don't know. I never got all A's, so it doesn't matter to me. I did. I had a couple of years of all A's.
You did, honey.
I was good at gym.
Lunch.
I
recess.
Lunch. Recess. I was head of the class on recess. So again, thank you very much to the Hop Hog Library. And unless we have any more questions, I'm going to sign off here. Thank you for having us. Yeah, big time. Joanna, always great to see you folks. So in the meantime, let's be good to one another, all right? Turn around and help somebody up if you can. Give back. You probably, I think we all get more than we give. So let's try to give back as much as we can. Look out for the other guy. Stay safe. Be nice to one another. And go in peace. We love you.